All right. How are you, Jim? How you feeling?
Good. Good. Can I lie a little?
Yeah, you can lie.
um, I it's midweek through the open. It's mid through the open, so I am just a little bit run down actually at the moment, just with like work and whatnot. I'm doing a lot of 5 a.m. classes and training this week has been all over the place just because of repeats and stuff. So I'm a little run down, but I'm feeling good today, which is cool.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And when are you doing the workouts on Friday and then again on Tuesday, or?
No, I did on Saturday morning. So Friday night, we still have like Friday night lights here.
Yeah.
Come in, support everybody, and then do it Saturday morning around the same time as we usually do. So 11 a.m. in the morning. Then train after that. Then if I want to repeat, then come in on the Tuesday morning and do that.
Cool. So we're 3 weeks into the Open. You're sitting in 10th. We're very confident. We believe in you, and we're confident that you're going to be going to regionals.
Awesome.
But obviously, nothing's set in stone until it happens. But we should still start taking that extra step and preparing you for what we want to happen, which is going to regionals.
Yep.
What is your goal for the season from here on out?
In all honesty, I just really want to enjoy myself. Last year, I didn't have any expectations. Didn't really have my head in the game that well. So I want to stay focused, and I really want to concentrate on one, moving well all the time, but like more so just staying concentrating. So more so just staying and enjoying the process.
Cool. Okay. And so part of that process and moving well and enjoy the process, you want to also dial in your nutrition a little bit, get a bit more out of your performance, recover better, more energy from everything.
Yeah, yeah. Well, last year I didn't really do anything too good with it.
Yeah.
I just kind of figured what worked for me. And then earlier this year, I just kind of been trying a few things,
Yeah.
which have kind of worked, but I just want to make that, I guess, a bit more clear for me when coming into regionals. So
Yeah.
it's like consistent because
Yeah.
it hasn't been consistent.
Cool. So at the moment, you've been following a little bit of a template, which wasn't personalized to you, was it? It was just, it was. I think Megan was following something, and you might have just copied a basic template of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. That's
Cool.
right.
Um, so physically, in regards to your training, what areas do you think you could improve? Like, do you feel like you are lacking strength at the moment? Do you feel like you're lacking just energy and long workouts? Is there any area in particular that you want to get a little bit more out of
Now or after the open?
from the Open, just in general? This is a pretty general, broad question.
Stronger. It's clear in my previous years and in this year that I just lack a bit of strength in
Yep.
comparison. So I really need to start working on that and knuckle down. I don't feel this point in the open, I feel a little bit weaker than what I did when I started, but that's all right. I'm still moving okay. But it's my strength. It's my
Okay.
strength. It's my main thing.
Cool, because they're going to be things that we need to take into consideration while we do your nutrition and while we dial it in.
Yep.
The amount of food that you're getting, making sure that you are getting enough calories in to get stronger and to build more muscle.
Yep.
While it's great being lean and having a six pack, we need to find that very fine line of making sure that you're getting enough recovery in for your volume that you are going to be putting in the lead up to regionals.
Yep.
Cool. So now let's have a little chat about your actual eating habits. Um, do you have any concerns, or like, are there any things that you notice that you know aren't great habits when it comes to your nutrition?
Yep, my sweet sugar tooth.
Yeah,
Um, Whenever I have like lollies or some kind of bad sugars the day before any training session or whatnot, I feel it quite dramatically in my training, and I can point it out. I just feel a lack of energy, and I just don't feel good throughout my training. So that's my biggest problem.
yeah,
I'm okay. I'm pretty good actually when I have a goal in mind and I've set myself for say regionals and whatnot. Then I can kind of push through that time and just not eat a lot of sugar. I usually cut quite a bit of it out, especially like last year in prep for regionals with the with going as an individual, and the year before that when we were trying to make the games as a team.
Yeah.
I just cut off a lot of like bad sugars, and it helped quite a bit. So that's my biggest downfall, is that I like
the sweets.
Marshmallows
before bed. So you talk about some of the things that you've done in the past, and you say that you're just cutting sugar out of your diet, and that worked really well for you.
Yeah, that
Cool.
did. I
Awesome.
mean, like, and even I got to the point where I just did, when I tried it, or I felt like it, because I would listen to my body on occasion, like every 2 or 3 weeks, if I felt like it, I'd eat it.
Yeah.
But I just didn't like it in
Cool.
the end.
Good.
Usually I can eat a bag full, and then I could eat 2.
What are some things that you've tried that haven't worked well for you? Anything that you can think of that like you just found didn't work?
Thinking of myself in comparison to last year, I wasn't eating hardly any carbs or anything like that last year, and then I've put a lot more carbs in at the beginning of this year, and that's helped heaps. Like
Cool.
in terms of having energy to get through workouts, long training sessions.
Yeah.
So not having a lot of carbs, I don't agree with so much.
Cool. Okay, that's good. What do you think holds you back with your nutrition? Anything that you can think of? Is it organization? Is it like you just you hate healthy food? Give us some anything that. What do you think holds you back? Laziness?
No, I think it's
Not knowing?
not knowing as well. A bit of inconsistency with my training, so it's not necessarily like every day I train at this time or whatnot. So I get a bit inconsistent with how much carbs I'm supposed to eat, how much protein, how much fats I'm supposed to eat, and whatnot. So that is my biggest downfall. Like I was saying to you earlier, I've introduced, when I got to Christchurch, I introduced doing morning sessions, just aerobic sessions, and I just didn't really know what intake I should have before and after and whatnot, because I coached before that too. So like just inconsistency and timing on my training.
Cool. Okay. How many sessions per day are you doing? Like roughly how many hours a day at the moment are you doing with training? Roughly?
Probably two.
Cool.
Maybe 2.5, but
cool.
2.
And that's 5 days a week, 1 active recovery day?
Yeah.
And 1 full rest day?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. How is your stress at the moment? Do you feel just with work, life?
It's a little high at the moment, in all honesty. Just with trying to manage myself with work, I'm up at 5 a.m. every single morning, and I'm just not a napper, is what they say throughout the day. And then I coach midday classes, and I coach nighttime classes as well, so fitting training within that too. I'm not necessarily getting as much sleep as probably what I need.
That was my next question. Yeah, how many hours sleep are you getting, do you think?
Well, probably around about 6, in all honesty, per night. I can put my head down and go to sleep straight away, but I'm just not much of a napper.
Cool.
Which I probably need to start fitting into my day somewhere. But where was I at?
Stress.
Yeah, stress. Yeah, at the moment, just because I've lost a bit of enjoyment with the open and whatnot, and it's nothing about the expectations of myself. I've just lost a bit of fun about it. So I'm just trying to step back, and like today, going outside and doing things outside, like going for a walk up the hill and whatnot, just trying to be outside of the gym also, because I'm in the gym all the time.
Yeah.
So it's quite high at the moment.
Cool. They're things that we can try help you with and work on with, and we'll just try to come up with some solutions as well, because nutrition's a holistic thing. Like there's going to be areas of your life that are going to affect the food that you eat, and the stress is going to affect what food you're eating, and if you're able to follow plans and stick to everything. So we're going to look at coming through with a holistic approach to your nutrition.
Cool.
What are some of your favorite foods apart from marshmallows?
That's a good question. I do like chocolate.
So all the sweet stuff.
All the sweet stuff.
All right.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. I don't have anything in particular other than like artificial sugar.
What foods do you hate? What do you want to stay away from?
Um, I'm not a big fan of red meat.
Okay, that's cool.
Not a big fan of red meat.
Not a problem. Um, I've already checked if you're consistent with your food, so that's one of the big issues that we're going to need to look at.
Yeah.
Do you find that you ever skip meals?
Yeah, sometimes.
Cool.
Not intentionally,
Just
that,
busy.
just busy.
Cool. And when you eat, do you ever find that you are overeating to the point of being stuffed, or you're pretty in control of that?
Nah, pretty good, pretty good. But I find myself hungry again like an hour later. If it's like a big training day,
Yeah.
then I find myself hungry. Well,
Cool.
thinking I'm hungry in about an hour later.
Do you think you eat pretty fast when you eat?
Yeah, I do.
Cool. So
Especially like after training when you just want to kind of get it down when
Yeah.
it's not necessarily like a fun time to eat.
yeah,
So yeah.
that they could be. These are all things that will affect your hunger as well, like how fast you're eating, like that mindfulness while eating. So that's some of the things that we might introduce along the way to just have you thinking about. So as I said, it's going to be a holistic approach to your nutrition in the next few weeks. Cool. So what I need you to do is send through your body weight and your body fat.
Yeah.
If you can't have a body fat test, just send through some photos of you in your training gear, just so I can see your body composition, and then I can estimate roughly what your body fat is. And then I'll touch base with you tomorrow with our next steps and what we're going to do.
Cool.
Cool. I'll make a little bit of a plan up for us, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome. Thanks. Can I also like step back to just the stress one again?
Yeah.
Like I came into the open not necessarily having like a big goal. I just wanted to qualify and whatnot. And obviously, like I'm sitting in a good spot at the moment, which is cool. And I don't necessarily have like an expectation on myself. Or no, actually, I lie. Maybe I lie. Maybe because like I'm in a good position, I want to stay around that position at the moment.
Yeah.
But it does put like that extra bit of stress on
Yeah.
me. Not like even though I'm in a good position with my points and whatnot, like obviously the leaderboard shows that anything can kind of happen and whatnot. So, like that is also adding to my stress, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to like think of ways to peel myself back so it becomes like just another workout in the week that we do, and then it's just like but the workout that you push as hard as possible and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think my stress like affected me a bit like with my training yesterday. I just like I don't know if you saw my blog, but in the last AMRAP that we did, I just had no energy, no nothing. I was dizzy and whatnot, and I hadn't eaten good food. Like I haven't had problems with my food the last couple of days, but I really struggled yesterday with one pushing, but more so I just felt dizzy and the lack of energy and whatnot. So the stress I think is getting to me a little bit.
I was actually listening to a podcast about it a week or two ago, and it was more in relation to willpower. Like, so willpower in the regard that, like, say for example, someone who's trying to lose weight and they've got a piece of chocolate cake in front of them, and they use up all their willpower to not eat that piece of chocolate cake. And over time, that's going to get broken down. Your energy level is going to get lower, and they're going to want to eat that piece of chocolate cake, and then eventually they'll probably give in if it's pushed in front of them enough times. Most people, anyway. So the same could go for your willpower and your ability to push and your mental drive that you have. You've been using that up twice a week, maybe 3 times a week for the past 3 weeks. Emotionally, you're going to be really taxed and really drained. So when you're trying to do that for the open, but then also again in training, you're putting a lot of stress on yourself in that regard. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I believe that we only have a finite, like a certain amount of drive and push that we can use. And I think you've been using a lot of that every week in the open, and your stores are just running a little bit low. So just a little bit of time relaxing and not letting yourself get too stressed on the fact that during training anyway, that you might not be pushing quite as hard as usual. And then after the open's finished and we've got through those 5 weeks, you're going to be able to have a little bit of time to de-stress, decompress, and then let yourself recover from that.
Yeah.
So on those, in these days leading into the open workouts, we want push hard and give it your best, but don't beat yourself up if you feel like you didn't hit that 100%. Okay.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
don't over think your training sessions too much.
Okay.
Cool.
That's cool. I usually do, like I say, in the morning session or whatnot, and I cut that out this morning, and I might just cut them out next week, just because they just added just a bit more like stress and whatnot. Even though I enjoy them, but they add a bit more stress, so I just might not do them from now on, and just do like the training that's
and then after the next 2 weeks are over, then you can, if you feel like it, then we can add them back in. If not, no worries.
Yeah, cool. Okay, Zak.
Awesome. Thanks, Jimmy. It was good talking to you. I'll catch you soon, okay?
Thanks. Oh, and can you add me or find me on my
Yeah, I'll find you on MyFitnessPal.
Because I can't seem to find you, and I've got to store what I ate this morning and whatnot too. I haven't done that.
Do you know how many times you've said whatnot in this conversation?
No, you can go back and check.
I'm going to go back and check. All right.
That could be all your videos made out of.
Just whatnot. All right. Good to see you, Jim.
Okay,
Bye.
You too.